Can I?
Wow.
Great.
Welcome.
Can I share my screen then?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, yeah.
right?
Welcome, Hiro, Mr. Hiro Tsukahara, all the way from Japan. I was worried that you might be driving and talking to us, but I hope you are in your office. So welcome. Very quickly, I just want to let those of you who don't know you, Mr. Tsukahara worked with us over the last 10, 11 years, I think, on different projects. And we were very thankful for the .so project and a few other initiatives. And some of you might remember from his video of congratulating the Somali boxer in Tokyo's Olympic Games. But without further ado, Hiro, I want to welcome you. The floor is yours. Share with us your ideas, and we have some questions for you.
Excellent. Great, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be here and to be talking to all of you. Unfortunately, I can't see your faces, but hopefully one day I will be able to. With that, I'm going to jump right into the presentation that I've sort of put together, a very simple one, about a very important one. So this is, I just want to sort of show you what we've been able to do with the help of our great friends in Somalia and some of the projects that we've done. But before I get into that, I also want to explain to you who we are and what we do so that you know that we are an actual legit company in Tokyo. So first off, about GMO Internet Group. In overview, in summary, there's 105 companies within our group, 10 of which are listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. We've got about 6,500 staff globally, 72 offices in about 20 countries. And unfortunately, Somalia is not one, or Africa is not one yet. We'll get to that. And we do about $2 billion in revenue and about $400 million in profit on a yearly basis. Breakdown, 105 companies. This is a breakdown of the markets that we're listed on. So the Tokyo First Exchange, the JASDAQ, and the Mothers. And our combined market cap is about 1.6 trillion yen, which equates to about 15 billion US dollars. Again, number of staffs, we like to call our staff internet professionals. It's about 6,500, of which about 5,000 are located in Japan. This is the business that we do. In short, 4 different types of businesses: internet finance, crypto assets, online advertising and media, and last but not least, internet infrastructure. We have about 13.5 million customers that use our services across all these different business segments. And of the most, we're most well known for the domain registration business, where we have 83% market share in Japan, and with 6.5 million domain names under management. This puts us more or less around top 8 or so in the world ranking of registrars. And the largest one is by far a company called GoDaddy from the US. In terms of hosting, across different brands, we have about 57% market share in Japan. So 1 in every 2 websites you see on the search results at Google Japan is hosted at our data centers. We also provide e-commerce solutions, about 67,000 paid shops right now under 2 different brands. So in short, this is the likes of Shopify, of Wix, of Weebly, and we provide this to companies domestically. We also provide an SSL solution under a brand called GlobalZign, with which we have the #1 market share domestically. In terms of payment transactions, there's 7.4 trillion yen worth of transaction volume on a yearly basis. We provide the back end for a lot of major companies around the world that enter the Japanese market. And in terms of securities, we are the largest Forex trading platform internationally under a few different brands. And we are also an internet securities company. So if you have an account with us, you can purchase USD versus Australian dollars versus Japanese yen, and also purchase domestic stocks, the likes of Toyota, let's say, or Sony, or what have you. We're also pretty big in the crypto assets business. Three different things that we do. We mine, we trade, and we provide a payment solution. In terms of mining, we're in the mining of Bitcoin. We also provide a trading platform for cryptocurrencies, so for Bitcoin and also altcoins, under a brand called GMO Coin. This is the biggest crypto trading platform in Japan. We have about 35% market share. And we also have our own coin called G-Yen, which is a pegged coin, so a stable coin that is pegged to the Japanese yen. So it's 1 G-Yen for every 1 Japanese yen. And we just launched this on some of the major trading platforms around the world and are doing just fine. And we have a lot of faith, and we're looking forward to a lot of the opportunities that lie ahead in the crypto business. We also have a marathon team. We have a gentleman from Kenya that runs in our marathon team, and we had one athlete that was a runner-up to the Tokyo Olympics. Unfortunately, he could not run in the Tokyo Olympics, but there's a massive marathon every year in New Year's, and our runners are getting ready right now to win this our first title in 2022. Now, about GMO Registry, which is the registry business within GMO Internet, and one that I run. This is a short overview of what we do, but in short, we provide a solution to run domains, and we also run domains ourselves. We are most well known for the company behind .shop. So .shop is a new domain for e-commerce. Instead of having, let's say, champagne.com, which doesn't really let you know what you do just by looking at the domain name. If you had, let's say, champagne.shop, you would know that it's a website that sells champagne. The world is moving towards this trend of using specific domains for specific purposes. And since e-commerce is blooming, we decided to apply for .shop back in 2008, and were awarded the rights for .shop in 2016 after going to an auction with Amazon and Google, JD.com, the second largest e-commerce provider in China. And we've been in business for .shop for the last 5 years, and it's currently, I believe, around 6 or so in terms of rankings in new GTLDs. We also run .Tokyo, Nagoya, Yokohama, Kyoto. These are major cities in Japan. And we also provide a solution for country codes, which is where we used to provide a solution for .so. We also did the same for .id, Indonesia, and now for .mm, Myanmar. We're also the system provider for a lot of brand TLDs, which is where brands own their equivalent .brand names. For instance, Canon owns .Canon, Sony owns .Sony, Toyota owns .Toyota. And so we have about 42 TLDs that we run for major brands. In our quick history with .so, so I believe it was in March 2010 that we met the delegates. Back then, I believe it was a transitional federal government, but it was in Nairobi that I believe we all met. And then we had a meeting in April in 2010 in Tokyo. In June was a signing agreement ceremony, I believe, with the minister in Dubai. And in November was when we opened the registrations for .so for trademark owners, followed by a first come, first served phase. And in 2015, we handed over all the technical operations to Sonic, which I believe still runs .so. These are some of the pictures from the signing ceremony in 2010. Can't believe it's already been 11 years since. But this is at the signing ceremony in Dubai. That was me on the left with glasses, a bit younger back then. So after all that, I also wanted to talk about future opportunities. Since we provide a lot of different solutions at GMO Internet Group, I believe there's a lot of things that we do have to offer that we can provide when time and everything permits. And so whether it's, we're also, for instance, an online bank. We don't have an actual location, a physical location, but we are a bank in Japan as well. So we have that license and all that. But there's a lot of technological, for instance, softwares and knowledge that we 6,500 of us have at GMO Internet Group that I'm hoping one day we'll be able to export into Somalia, whether that be the crypto business, for instance, or the conventional domains and hosting and ISP solutions. Whatever it may be, we're open to the future. We're looking forward to the future opportunities and hope that we can one day actually visit and provide what we have and what we've done best in Japan. So that in a nutshell is what I wanted to talk about today. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to take them. And last but not least, I hope again that I get to see you all face to face one day, either in Japan or potentially in Somalia. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Hiro. That was very educational, I guess, for some of us back home who wanted to know about the history of how the RSO was implemented and so on. But also, I want to thank you for sharing with us more about GMO in general and all the other stuff you're doing. And on behalf of some of the other Somalis who met you, I know you're very modest about this, but you did a lot of welcoming in Tokyo for many Somali delegations who came for other reasons, like the TCAT and other events. So then on behalf of them also, I want to thank you for all that. Maybe I was expecting that you show some photos, but obviously you were too modest. You didn't. I would have liked to see some of those dinners and also. And the other area that I'm really interested is going beyond the registry stuff. This was the third time I think I came to the TCAT, and I'm hoping to get the Somali delegation in a couple of years or 3 years time, I think, in the next TCAT. And those are the areas really I want to explore. But also I want to mention in today's presentations, right after you, and there's another one around 5, I think, there are people talking about NFTs for Somalia. There's actually an NFT project for the Somali artists. Abukar will be presenting, but that will be later on. And right after your presentation now, Gadi is actually presenting, and he's launching a project. It's called Brickcoin. Actually, they're launching a Brickcoin to help the homeless people back home in Somalia to have homes. So there could be some synergy. So I will encourage those people probably to follow what you're doing in the crypto part of the business, I guess. But I don't want to dominate here. I want to allow other people to ask questions. I can see a lot of hands. So Abdulrazak, yeah, go ahead, please, Abdulrazak. Can you unmute yourself? Hello? Hello, Abdulrazak. I'm not sure. Abdulrazak is in Sydney. Maybe he's watching the rugby or the soccer or something. you with us, Abdulrazak? I can see you, but I'm not sure. I can hear you. Any other questions? I guess Mohammed, you'll be interested what Hiro was saying. So maybe at some stage you guys need to connect because you seem to be in the
same world.
Yeah. But I want to just give another minute if there are other questions. Perhaps even those of you who are watching on Facebook, you can just drop a line and I can connect. And if not, you can always ask by email, and I'm sure Hiro will be happy to to reply.
Yes, yes, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And by the
So
way,
yeah.
Mohammed, I like that background.
Yeah, this
Nice.
guy. If you get chance, I know you're very busy, but I will record this and to be on Facebook as well. It's interesting concept, and
Uh-huh.
although this is a university environment and we're not allowed to advertise, he will probably mention on what brick coin is about. So we shouldn't confuse with Bitcoin. This is a brick coin.
Right.
Brick coin technologies. So,
That's
are there
it.
any questions or comments? Because we don't want to keep Hiro. It's a very busy, I'm sure, in Tokyo. So, well, if not, I think we'll thank you, Hiro. This was really amazing, and I want to also thank you about that other clip you did for the Somali boxer. That
Oh, not at
was
all.
trending for a while. That was quite good. Hassan is asking a question. Hassan, yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Hiro, for that great
Thank you.
presentation. I just want to know, in terms of .so domain name, I think in your presentation you said it was transferred to Sonic company. I just who's Sonic and how do they manage it? Is that another Japanese company, and how do they manage .so? I thought at the beginning of the presentation you transferred that to the Somali government, and I could see Mohammed,
Yeah.
I think, as
So-
a minister then. So what happened there? I just didn't understand it.
So I'll answer to the extent of my knowledge. If I've misunderstood anything, Mr. Mohammed, please jump in. So my understanding was, well, at least from the ICANN's international organizations level, the domain was never under GMO's hands. In other words, it was always under the government's hands. So the rights were never transferred. We were just the technical backend, if you will. We were just providing the software to run the domain. And then the government set up Sonic. I actually do not remember the abbreviations, but I believe it was the government that set up Sonic, and Sonic was then or became the registry or the governing organization behind .so. And I believe the intention of the government was so that in most countries, the CCTLDs, the country code top level domains, aren't directly run by the governments, but by organizations that are either designated, either won by tenders, but indirectly by the government. So it's never really direct. And I believe the government of Somalia was trying to do the same, so that the government couldn't essentially interfere if there are any conflicts of interest. That this would be more of a multi-stakeholder model where governments had some say, so did students, so did the public businesses, for instance. And so that is how I understood how Sonic was built.
Yeah, that is spot on. And I think one of the reasons actually we invited Hiro to come was also to let the Somali community know about this. And this is now streamed on Facebook, and it will be on Facebook, and it will be on the university websites, basically for the record, because as we speak, Somalia is going through elections, and Sonic is actually a government entity. There's a website. Those of you who are watching on Facebook, you can Google it, you can go to Sonic. Sonic is run by the NCA, which is the National Communication Authority. Again, they have a website. So that was really part of the deal. So now it's all out there. Those of you who are watching this on social media, and those of you who will watch later on, you can Google Sonic, you can see what happened. And when the transfer itself took place, it was done at the World Bank office in Nairobi. Again, that's on the record. So again, those of you in the World Bank and everyone, so once and for all, anyone can read about it, can watch about it, can go into the World Bank website or the Sonic website or the NCA website. So all Somalis who are wearing Somali T-shirt, you can all get that information. So are there any commissions or comments?
Just quickly.
Yeah.
Hello, Hiro. My name is Levan. I'd like to thank you for coming in and talking to us.
you.
Just had a couple quick sort of questions regarding the GN coin. You mentioned that you had your group, your company, had your own coin exchanges. Did the GN coin come about as a specific for a specific need? Like, did you have a need to have a stable coin, or was it solving a specific problem? And is there any challenges with running a stable coin or maintaining a stable coin? Does it have to be centralized? Do you have to sort of keep track of it a little more closely than a more some of these more volatile altcoins?
Yes, in short, there's a lot of hurdles, a lot of work, a lot of resources that needs to be put in to make coins, but also to run them. And this is a business that we began, in short, not for our purpose. It wasn't really so that we can make money. We actually don't make money because it's a pegged coin. Every GN we sell needs to have proof that we have that same amount in the bank. So whenever someone purchases 1 GN, we automatically put that amount into the bank account, and that is audited every month by some of the world's largest auditors. And we release that on our website so that every customer knows that for whatever amount of GN that is circulating, there's the same amount of Japanese yen in the bank account. Now, a lot of hurdles because one, in Japan, we are not able to make our own coin in Japan. Our government doesn't allow that at this moment. So we went to the US and we got the license to run this in New York, in the US, and setting up. So it was, we have to start from scratch, literally finding the right people in the US, getting the right lawyers, which is probably the most important thing in the US. And setting up offices here and there. In terms of the technology, this is run on the Ethereum platform. And the purpose was really because, yes, there's a lot of potential in cryptocurrencies, but there's a lot of downside as well. There's a lot of unknown factors. There's a lot of merits and demerits. And the most simple disadvantage of using, for instance, Bitcoin as a currency is that it is too volatile. The fluctuations are too big that one day you might be able to receive for, let's say you sell $10 worth of goods, that could be $100 one day, could also be $1. And so it's too volatile for it to be currency right now. But if it is pegged to an actual stable coin, like the US dollar or the Japanese yen, then the fluctuations in theory should be the same. And as you know, stable coins do not move that much. They may move a few percent, max maybe 10% on a given day if something great or bad happens, but usually they're very stable, which is why they're called stable coins. Now, granted, there are situations where because this is a crypto asset, there are people that purchase these coins not knowing or not really understanding that they're stable coins. There's every time a new coin comes into the world, there's a set number of people that purchase them because of the success that they've seen with Dogecoin, for instance, Shiba Coin, for instance, all these coins out there that have their own purpose, whether everyone understands or not. They do have their purpose for themselves, but every time something new comes out, there's a spike because people believe that it might become the next Bitcoin. And so although GN is a stable coin and should not have these crazy fluctuations, we have seen in the past when we started providing these coins at large platforms, that some customers picked them up and bought them for prices that probably shouldn't be bought. But in short, these are very stable, and there's a need for stable coins in the market. If you're trading, let's say Bitcoin, and want to stop trading, but don't want to change that into an actual fiat currency, you're going to have to hold it with some sort of stable virtual cryptocurrency. And that is where GN comes into play. That is where USDT, for instance, comes into play. All these coins that are pegged to the stable coin, because they do not fluctuate too much, allows people to continue holding cryptocurrency without the risk of losing half of their value, for instance, overnight. But you also don't gain your value. You don't double your value overnight either, but it's still very stable. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments
Thank
or
you.
questions? Hassan, you're back. Hassan, yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Just one quick one to Hiro. Given how large your company is and you dominate markets in Japan, and you said you have offices globally, but I'm just curious, you said you don't have offices in Africa, which is next big thing, and potentially
Yes.
are you planning to expand to Africa, and why not so far?
So we do have offices globally, but mostly in Southeast Asia, outside of Japan, and that's very much has to do with the geographical proximity. So when we start businesses, we make sure that we become number one in Japan before we go outside, and we start going out to the closer countries. So unfortunately, Africa is one of the farthest places you can go from Japan after South America. So due to geographical proximity, we haven't been able to reach Africa yet. Another side to that is we Japanese are not well known for being very linguistic, or not a lot of us speak English very well. And so we've been going towards the non-English speaking countries, and the vast majority of the non-English speaking countries there's a lot in Asia that we can reach out to and do business and find people that speak Japanese in the language spoken in that specific country. And so for strategical reasons, we've gone to non-English speaking regions and do business, just because the English speaking countries you usually have competitors from the US or other English speaking countries. And that usually makes it harder for us to do business. All that said, we do understand that there's a lot of countries in Africa that speak various languages. And we do understand that as one of the frontiers, but the next big thing, and it is an area that we've always been wanting to actually go to. We're very lucky enough to meet Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim and get into the .so business back in 2010. But since then, we haven't been able to do anything new. And so long story short, yes, we do have interest in going to Africa. And if there are any opportunities that make sense for both those in Africa and also for us from in all aspects, then we'll definitely be there. Does that answer your question,
Hassan?
Mr. Hassan?
Yes. Thank you, Hiro. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Hiro. I think we appreciate your time. I know you've got a very tight schedule, but on behalf of all of us and those of us who are watching from Somalia and elsewhere, thanks for your time, and we'll forward to you if there are any questions that I can't answer or the university guys can't answer. But really, that was quite amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you again. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be here, and I very much look forward to meeting all of you one day somewhere in this world. Hopefully in Somalia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna stop recording because I want to